Morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B. He's Buddy the God.
Hey,
Man, it is the first of the month. Check this out on a Monday.
wake up.
That's right. In case your checks can come up. It's going down.
Hey.
Lots to talk about today for sure. We appreciate everybody getting up early with us on this Monday morning. And I hope that you stick with us throughout the 2 hours of the show on this June the 1st, 2026. 7 o'clock right now, if you believe in the concept of time. And yeah, we're gonna get into it. How you feeling over there, buddy?
Man, feeling good. As always, looking forward to today's. It's the last Cypher. It's the last Cypher of the season. Yes, the time has come. Yeah, man, of course. Let's get into it. Senators Spivey, McKinney, put some respect on their names. More things to come for the next 2 hours. Buckle up. Let's go.
Yep, let's go ahead and fire it up.
Let's start the show.
First Sky Omaha in the morning. Money. Once again, welcome to a fresh edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B. He's Buddy the God.
Hey.
Appreciate all of you getting up. Do us a favor, share the show. If you're on Facebook, share it on your page. Easy thing to do. If you're on YouTube, do us a favor and share the link to somebody who you think might want to have a conversation today. Jump on in, talk to some folks. Yeah, appreciate you guys getting up early. I see the early risers this morning.
Hey.
Sean McCarthy giving us a morning. First Sky team and chimers. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Thank you, man. Hope you did too. Michelle Moreno gives us a good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. How you feeling? What's going on with you, Miss Moreno? Also, Mark Manner gives us a good morning as well. Man, you guys, I love when you guys get up right at the beginning. I'm just like amazed every time, and stick through the 2 hour discussion as well. Also, Leia Kesey gives us a happy, marvelous Monday. What's going on with you this summer? Let us know how you're doing as well. Marlon Harrison says, "Good morning, First Sky family, and happy motivational Monday." I guess I can be putting these up while I'm talking about it. And also, Mark Manner says, "I started my morning seeing Paul B in a video about there being no black people in Omaha." Shout out to Jordan, my man Jordan.
Yeah.
Ninja. Yeah. And I guess they've announced Jordan and Jewel tying the knot.
It's a thing.
You say living black dandy couple.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah. Living their best black dandy life.
Yeah, man.
In Europe, dressed to the nines. Yeah,
That's right.
Hey, congratulations.
That's when I saw Jordan. Jordan did it right. He waited till he got to Rome to propose. Popped the question. So
Man's got style.
Yeah, that's some style. That's right. Congratulations to them. And congratulations to you for making it through the weekend. Getting to this Monday. Let us know how your weekend went. We'll definitely talk about what went down over the weekend. There was a few things that happened. And let us know if you've been a part of any of those things or if you just took some time to chill out. I definitely did some chilling out today a little bit.
A lot of bit for me. A lot of bit.
Man.
Yeah. How you doing, man?
I'm tired, boss. I'm doing pretty good, though. I actually did spend some time kind of resting yesterday, and then some things went down a little later on in the evening that kind of kept me up longer, later than I wanted to. So it's always rough when you get up. We get up pretty early to prepare for the show. I get up about 5:30 before the show, so we do that. But yeah, like I said, the show always rejuvenates. Get the blood flowing.
Yeah, gets the brain going.
Exactly. So we can set intentions for the week. So do us a favor, let us know how your weekend went, and everything that went down. If you did something good, if you did something fun, some Love Supreme would be good. And even remember, Love Supreme is also, if you're rested, took care of your rest for yourself as well. Michelle Moreno says, not much, just getting ready for work, and then that meetup at Island Chill tonight. Oh, what's going on?
Yeah, I did see some folks over at Island Chill over the weekend. I think on Saturday morning. Seemed like there's some things going on over at Island Chill. I was actually able to give me, one of them smoothies. Check them out. Island Chill gets down. Yeah,
man. Yeah, I love Island Chill, man. She's got good stuff when it's, especially when it's like a warm day out. Can't nothing beat it. Can't nothing beat it. I know one thing that is going on tonight, a little later on, though. The Florida Project is playing. This is going to be with our partners over at Film Streams and in the Omaha Checkup. We've been talking about this one here. You do have to register to check it out, but it's a free screening and discussion with some people from UNMC, and it's going to be a great moderator there as well. This is one of the series, the once a month Omaha Checkup series is going down. So shout out. I hope that you guys support the partners with this one. This is 6:30 at the Ruth Sokolov Theater. Free screening and post-film discussion for the Florida Project. Definitely check it out. Shout out to Tamara Dwyer, who's been a part of this as well. I believe that she's going to be on the panel. Yep. And and then I think Wise Apples is part of this as well too, right? Moderating.
There's a couple of partners getting down tonight. So yeah. Come through.
So you might see us in there as well. So definitely come check that out. Appreciate you guys supporting Film Streams, and let us know if you've been to any of these films that we've been talking about, because we want to be able to report back to them that our folks are going to check it out too, using Film Streams as a third space and continuing the conversation over there. Big time.
Man.
Yep. RG in the chat with the morning, y'all. Appreciate you. Judy Prince gives us a good morning. Appreciate that as well.
Hey.
Miss Erica Felt in the chat saying good morning. Hey to Florida Project. Yeah, I know you're going to check it out tonight. Appreciate that. Man, we came out to go see you guys. We thought Sanita Budai's event was on Saturday.
Man.
He was out there looking around like, oh, we don't see him.
Right. Brought the babies out there and everything. Was ready to go.
It turned out it was on a Sunday. Let us know how that event went. With all the kids out there too. So yeah, appreciate you guys putting that on. We'll get our date straight one day.
Yeah, time.
Mark Manner says I have to push an event myself. G3 and Cobra Kyle. Oh, okay, that's the group. I will be playing Prince music on his B-Day Sunday starting at 5 at Odo.
Paul.
Oto, yeah.
Prince and Odo. That sounds like you got your name on it.
It kind of does. It just made me think right now, like, I think I need to remind people about the Prince parties that I used to throw back in the day. So we can fire that back up. We'll see. RG says, hey man, Island Chill was the real MVP at Anthony's B-Day party a couple weeks ago. Shout out to Michelle Moreno. Man, yeah.
Get down.
Out there with the truck. Heather Williams gives us a good morning. Good morning. Appreciate you. Also, Ariels 402 says, tell them First Sky sent you. Please do. Also, the People's Picnic was wonderful. I'm glad to hear it. I'm sorry we missed it. We did make an attempt, but so appreciate that, Miss Erica Felt. And I'm glad everybody had some fun. Like I said, let us know what it is that you guys did over the weekend, and we'll definitely be talking about some of the things coming up. But definitely want to hear if you had some good time spent with loved ones. Is the most important part of that. Yeah, man. But let's jump into a couple community updates. There's some things that are coming up. Of course, Juneteenth is really popping off. I mean, there's actually 4 or 5 major events that's happening, and it's interesting because everybody's starting to talk now. Like, let's make sure that everybody cross promotes, supports each other's events. We ran into the people putting on Joy Fest, Lala and them putting on Joy Fest, and hearing about what's going on over there too. Joy Fest is going down, the Juneteenth Joy Fest, and then I also talked to Jade. So the Juneteenth Steampunk Ball. This is one that I wanted to highlight because it's so different. This is one that we also have to throw in there. It's also going down on the 13th. So this is kind of for people who got a little different idea, maybe want to dress up and do some things. You're invited to the Juneteenth Steampunk Ball, which I think is pretty interesting event. There's a couple of them that day. It's the family day earlier, interactive hands-on space where community and families explore the meaning of freedom through creativity, history, and science and imagination. This is happening from 12 to 3 at the Barbara White's Community Center. So that's pretty cool. There'll be some hands-on a building of costumes and things like that's going on. And then later on that night over at the Church Art House on the South Side, they're going to have a Juneteenth 21 Steampunk Vaudeville show, music, burlesque, vendors, and more. Another opportunity for you to kind of dress up in your steampunk stuff. So I think it's it's an interesting alternative to some of the other things that are going on during that time. Just wanted to kind of highlight that too. Shout out to the House of Afro Capes and Curls, who is putting that on. Shout out to Jade. She's got some deep stuff happening. Deep stuff happening. She's actually put out a post that said that explains steampunk. He says, why steampunk? And I thought it was pretty interesting too. If it ever wants to process and come up here we go. Steampunk invites us to reimagine the past. So I get some Django Unchained vibes going on. Instead of accepting histories where Black people are erased, sidelined, and reduced to struggle alone, we use steampunk to ask, what if Black brilliance, invention, elegance, and imagination were placed at the center? So I like the history lessons that she also brings with some of her events, and then the reimagining of the histories is pretty cool too. So again, you might not want to go to the concerts or participate in other things. It might be an alternative thing you want to do, and if you're so inclined, the way they do AfroCon, where you dress up in costumes and put those things together. This might be right up your alley there. She's done a few of them before. She even put out a book of some people who dressed up in steampunk in the past. So definitely go check that out. Even if you don't make it, it's really interesting thing to check out as well. Just the diversity of just Black culture in Omaha and the different things that there is to do for people who have different interests. So just wanted to bring that up and call that out a little bit because it's there. So there you go. Some of the other things that are going on, there's some town halls happening too that are coming up. And this is one, we'll be talking about the one with Senator Ashley Spivey, Senator Terrell McKinney, but here's a District 2 town hall that's coming up on June the 8th with Councilmember LaVanya Goodwin and team hosting. She says as she embarks on year one of service in elected office, Councilmember Goodwin shares how partnering with your council representative can strengthen our community. So I think this is going to be an interesting one as well. This is Monday, June 8th from 6:30 to 7:30 at the Learning Center of North Omaha, 1612 North 24th Street, right here on the Deuce. So yeah, get ready for that. And like we said, there's some other town halls and some things going on as well. Also, what's going on today too is that potluck. This is the first Monday of every month. Housing Justice Potluck. Shout out to the Redress Movement, Clarice Dombeck, who puts these on as well. This is 6:30 to 7:30 at 216 South 34th Street in Omaha. Grab a bite with us, socialize, and learn about our current housing justice campaign. I think this is going to be a pretty interesting thing as well. She also is saying that she would like you to RSVP to this, so I'll put that link in the chat just in case you want to check this out a little bit later on today, 6:30 to 7:30. Shout out to Clarice Dombeck in the redress movement, all the work they're doing over there too. We got some more haps to come. We'll be talking about them a little bit later on the show, especially this other meeting here, this community vision meeting. People have been asking a lot of questions about the grocery store that's coming up, and Heart Ministry wants to hear from you about this June 17th. It's a little down the ways. We'll keep on talking about it so you can keep it on your mind and keep it on your calendar, because this will be a good opportunity for you to come out and speak about some of these ideas of what's being built here in North Omaha, especially around the 24th and Lake Street area. With major things like grocery stores popping up. When people say we need them, they're coming. So let's definitely keep that in mind. But with that, we'll save some of the haps for a little bit later on in the show, as we are anticipating our special guest. The last Senator Cypher of the season is happening today with Senator Terrell McKinney, Senator Ashley Spivey. Put some respect on their names. And we'll be talking to them. So let's go ahead and jump into today's thread, buddy. In the meantime, between time, what are we talking about today?
Man, we're getting in our political bag today, as it is the last Cypher. So in anticipation for our guest of today, as Paul B just mentioned, Senators Terrell McKinney and Ashley Spivey, going to be looking at a few things from a few different angles. Really starting with something that's near and dear to us as far as communication and what the state of communication is in this country right now. Of course, we kind of talked about at the last part of last episode on Friday, a new purchase from Nebraska Public Media. But again, in preparation for today's show, kind of had a conversation and a thought with Paul that I want to extend to you all, as far as, sites like Washington Post, New York Times, a lot of, even the Omaha World Herald having paywalls. And again, access to information is kind of where my mind is. So definitely want to bring that conversation to you all, hear what you think, and not just access of information in the news sphere, in the information sphere, but what about access to information on the collegiate level? There's some things going on as far as what information can be taught, what kind of thoughts can be perpetuated at the university level in many areas. Of course, if you didn't hear, Governor Pillen recently just signed on Friday a executive order, or not necessarily executive, but an order in regards to anti-Semitism in the school. So we'll definitely dive into that. But not just that, there's a rift going on at UNK that has actually led to a book being banned and a faculty member being reprimanded. So what's going on at UNK? And again, it's not just here in Nebraska, but this is a national issue, as University of Alabama also having its own legal battle versus students and staff who say a few student publications were canceled. And again, we'll get into why those two publications representing women and black voices on the campus of University of Alabama. You can kind of take from that what you will. We'll definitely be getting into that here. And then also, it is still the season of Follow the Money. So we're going to be looking at a little black money a little bit. Shout out to my fellow Rattler, Ben Crump, and of course, LL Cool J, the legend himself, starting DreamFi, which is supposed to help bridge the gap, the wealth gap along racial lines. So we'll talk about that. And of course, if we're going to talk about that, have to get into reparations, some things happening in New York I want to point your attention to. And yeah, if there's anything, as always, on your hearts and minds that we're not talking about, again, we're here for the next 2 hours. So again, let your mind be free, let your voice be heard, as always. In the meantime, between time, Paul B.
Yo.
What's the word, man?
Man, the word is Juneteenth, which is coming up. None of the major events happening. Willie Williams in the chat, our Southwest correspondent, saying blessings. The National Juneteenth Flag Raising and Veterans Luncheon at noon today, 1819 Farnham. They're firing up already. The National Juneteenth Flag Raising is happening. So if you are following any of the official Juneteenth events that are going down, definitely check that out and tap in with Willie Williams. And if you, Miss Williams, if you want to put some information in Friends of First Sky Omaha for us, that'd be great. Go to the group page, Friends of First Sky Omaha on Facebook, and post some things about what's coming up if you have any flyers and things for that. So I appreciate that. Also, Sean McCarthy is saying, I still believe that news is a public utility. I'm fine with paywalls for more non-essential articles, recipes, sports, but I always get pissed when there's paywalls for essential articles. Yeah, feeling that. We'll definitely be talking about it. He said, like storm damage, elections, public policy that affects everyone. Good point. Good point. We'll get into it. Before we do that, we'll take a quick break, and then we'll jump into the stories, and then anticipate our guest, the last Senator Cypher of the season, happening today. Stay tuned. We'll be right back, y'all. It is First Sky Omaha in the morning. My name is Paul B. He's Buddy to God. Yeah. Shout out to all of you joining us. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. First Sky Omaha in the morning. I'll be Buddy to God. I like that track, man.
Thank you, bro.
Chill out vibe. I love the chill out vibe about it. Yeah. Something not just a physical chill out, but like a mental chill out. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, easy. It's easy. Yeah, man. Yeah. We're back. Again, this is the first of the month, and it is June, which is going to be a wild summer with all the things that are going on. But, we're here. We're going to keep on pushing through. We have our last show on the 13th for this season. And then we'll be taking some time off. So stay tuned for some announcements about, the Chat Chambers kickback dates and all of other things that are happening. We also just had our last class for the content creator camp spring 2026, and it was a great one. We had some good feedback. The stories that are coming are incredible,
Man.
and we just really appreciate everybody's participation who showed up for that one. It's getting better every time, and we love it. So if you have any interest in being in the fall version of that, hit us up, firstsky@gmail.com. Drop us a email. Let us know that you're interested in the next content creator camp fall 2026 classes, because we're getting those together now. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, between time, let's go ahead and jump into the stories, buddy. What's first on the agenda?
Man, I'm actually glad you started out with content creator camp, because that's where my mind is as far as strategic communication. And just share some thoughts, man. Again, this is stemming from literally me preparing for today's show. Shout out to who shared this? Who shared this? Paul Philman. Paul Philman shared a article from the Washington Post about discrimination shortening lives of Black communities, new evidence showing. And I definitely want to get into the content of this article, but again, as I was preparing for it, I couldn't read the article because I'm not subscribed to Washington Post, and just that just felt weird. Like it felt weird. This is also coming from some conversations I'm hearing brewing on my social media and my networks, and it is interesting. This is something also near and dear to our heart as far as what we do here on First Guy Omaha, trying to build journalists, trying to train citizens to be able to tell their own stories, because one, as if you haven't noticed, Omaha World Herald definitely is one of them. Many publications are moving to a paywall model, which means those who might not be able to afford what these paywalls cost are not being able to access the information, like Sean McCarthy is saying, that everyone needs. Stuff like storm damage, which actually just happened. There's hundreds who are out of power right now because of storms that happen here in Omaha. But again, if you don't subscribe to the Omaha World Herald, then how are you getting your information? Are you still just beholden to the KMTV, KETV, ABC, NBC, CBS affiliate network news, which you all know where that's going?
Mm. Yeah, it's hard to even we comprehend that the Omaha World Herald is supposed to be our local newspaper, and we can't be doing. And it's not cheap, bro. Like I think it's like something like $4 a month or something like that, or a week or something crazy. Yeah, too much.
Yeah. It's more than I want to pay. I'll just be honest. I'll just be honest. It's more than I want to pay. But again, it is very interesting just watching what's happening on the national landscape as well, with information and incomes at this moment, Nebraska public media, which I do have some thoughts, as we've seen over the last year, the crumbling and attack on public media. Actually, one of our content creators, a shout out to Brother Christian Harris, used to work for a public media radio station, and he was fired because of what happened at the federal level with the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Which is kind of interesting. It is because the brother's talented. Right. Yeah, the brother is talented, man. So again, to see somebody of his ilk, master's level education at Rutgers University, and again getting fired and finding himself dealing with us at our content creators camp because of what's going on in the national landscape, which is why I find it very interesting now that the Nebraska Examiner is reporting that Nebraska Public Media has bought an Omaha FM station. We kind of talked about this towards the end of last episode. Again, reported by Nebraska Examiner, Nebraska Public Media is launching its own dedicated station in Omaha to expand its statewide reach and better utilize two recently added reporters in the state's largest city. Nebraska Public Media, again, purchased a 101.9 FM, KOOO, and plans to launch on June 15th for new programming that features national public radio news and conversation programs, as well as an eclectic mix of rock, blues, folk, and alternative country music. Hey, if that floats your boat, there you go. But the biggest thing for us, of course, is the implementation of public news and talk radio. Again, Omaha is Nebraska's largest city, according to Stacy Decker, who's the general manager for Nebraska Public Media and CEO. He says this station strengthens the connection between Omaha and the rest of Nebraska by bringing nationwide or statewide news, and conversations to Omaha listeners, while also helping Omaha stories reach more Nebraskans. Again, he acknowledged that having a dedicated station in the state's largest city will aid fundraising and underwriting efforts. Also, the end of federal government funding for public media has forced public radio and television networks to increase fundraising efforts. Kind of all hands on deck. Again, in addition to some of the music selection, this radio station will also feature shows like Morning Edition, All Things Considered, and also offer local interview and jazz music programs in between. Now, I know KI. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, everything you just said was KIOS. Morning Edition, jazz in the afternoons. So interesting.
It is interesting. All of it's very interesting. Again, just watching where the direction of communication is going in this nation, and the fact that, again, state public entities are stepping up, kind of as we see NPR and PBS, of course, on the national level survive, but some of their local affiliates struggling. And again, here's the move. Chat, Paul, what say you?
I mean, it's a shout out to Nebraska Public Media. They also are the ones that revitalized the Reader. Once John Houston shut that down, and they came in and scooped it up, and they've been running Reader articles. So there's what they already been doing, and then there's the new stuff that they've been doing. This radio move is kind of out of left field. I'll be honest. We're in the field. We deal with radio. We started with radio. We deal with radio all the time. We're in contact with people with low power stations that we are considering acquiring and trying to get back into it. What I've learned about radio is that there is no more FCC license. So you basically have to wait until a station becomes available and for sale. And for a station in the metropolitan area like this, that can be in the millions. And I think they are going to be paying millions to purchase this station. So it's interesting to me. And then also my other thought is, as the program director of Mind and Soul, 101.3 FM, there was some synergy there with other stations where if you're in a town that already has an NPR affiliate, you don't really do another NPR affiliate. I mean,
I know that's how Democracy Now.
We got Democracy Now because nobody was running Democracy Now in the city. So again, we've been pushing for people to support KIOS because it's the only NPR station in Omaha, and that comes with Morning Edition and all these other shows that are part of that. And again, like Buddy was explaining, with this current administration taking money away from like public broadcasting, where a lot of these affiliate stations are able to do business. It's the affiliate stations like KIOS that suffer. So those are the ones. Even PBS is saying, "Hey, support your local affiliate." So it's just interesting to me to make the move to first of all purchase a radio station in the same market, and then tap into NPR. So now there's two NPR stations that need to be supported in this climate, which is just strange to me. So anyway, that's really, I mean, I don't know much about it other than what we are reading here. We haven't talked to anybody in particular about this move. So I'm just speculating. I'm just thinking about what I know is being a person that has worked in that field and profession. And it's an interesting move. I can understand the draw to build a radio station, but I absolutely would move that radio station in a direction that covered other areas of life that the radio stations out here aren't covering. So to hear that it's going to be the same NPR shows, the same jazz in the afternoon type of situation is just really interesting. They are based in Lincoln though, right? Nebraska Public Media.
Honestly, I'm not sure.
Yeah. So that could be a factor as well. I don't know. I know that KIOS had a transmitter out there too, and you can pick up KIOS on a different channel. So they were covering Omaha and Lincoln, but I don't know if that has continued. And so that's another question. Where is the coverage here for this? Is this greater Nebraska? That might make more sense. Hearing about some of the musical choices that they're going to be pushing. It seems to me that they're probably going to be not in urban areas. Not really sure. So I'd love to hear more information about it. I am of that belief that we need more free news. I guess we can't really call it free. We want to support it. But more communication, definitely more media. I can understand it. More outlets for sure. Cause I come from cities that have 4 or 5 different of the 4 or 5 of the same kinds of stations as well. So, that exists as well in a bigger city. It's just really kind of interesting all the way around. What say you? I want to put it to the chat. RG in the chat is saying, yeah, Nebraska Public Media is in Lincoln. They're on the east campus of UNL.
Okay.
That's also interesting because KIOS is powered by Omaha Public Schools. So that's 2 stations that are powered by education channels.
Then you have KVNO at UNO.
KVNO at UNO, right? The classical station that is actually reaching out and doing a lot more work and a lot more news over there as well. Shout out to KVNO for the work they've been doing. Also, many moons ago, I was an IT intern there. Okay.
Hey, nice. Okay.
Well, you live some lives, RG. I tell you what. Mark Manor says my NPM check comes from Lincoln. Yes.
Okay.
Tisa Hart in the chat saying, "Good morning, beautiful people. Happy first day of June. Appreciate you coming through." Mark Manor says, "I think both stations will have many different things and offer more overall." Okay, cool.
That'd be nice.
He also says Jazz in the Afternoon moved to nights on KIOS, and they added a lot of science programs that people wanted, I guess. I did hear that. Yeah, I was talking to Todd Hatton, a few years back. That was the move. He wanted to get to some different kinds of like Radio Lab style shows, and he really wanted a lot of local shows like that. And he had told me back then, yeah, if if we come up with some other stuff, we would move the Jazz around in the afternoon for sure. So I'm happy to see they've done that now. So again, man, it's just interesting. I'm sitting here right now thinking in Las Vegas, I believe there are 2 NPR stations there too, flip back and forth for different shows at different times. I mean, it can't hurt. It's just an interesting move. Also, Miss Erica Felt is saying, where are you guys talking about? We were talking about paywalls a little earlier as well. She says, paywall, why should I subscribe to New York Times and post on Facebook the breaking news with screenshots or copy paste of the articles? Yeah, you got to do a little bit more work to do that, and that's not even really what you're supposed to do with this stuff. So yeah, interesting. Also, RG says Washington Post used to not have paywalls. Yeah, none of them really did till that became the model, because nobody was, they had to figure out a different model. Newspapers are going away, and I think New York Times actually was the entity that started the paywall system, and they have several tiers of it. So it's not just it's just stuff behind the wall and stuff not. They've worked out over years several tiers. So some stuff is behind the paywall, some stuff you can get behind the paywall for 2 or 3 times, and it keeps track of that. And then on your 4th time, they'll ask you to pay. They had to try a bunch of different iterations on how to make it work so that people did finally end up starting to pay, because we really do have to start thinking about paying for news. The question, the thing you said, buddy, earlier, you like, it costs more than I'm willing to pay. The question is like, what are we willing to pay? We're in a situation now. We definitely are on a subscription level where we get grants. We do advertising. We do everything we can. We're going to be out here selling pies. We're going to do everything we can to support this news, because where is the new money in news anymore? It's dwindled down to the point where rural newspapers and stuff like that have gone away. And Omaha World Herald lay off 75% of their staff. And that's not just for here. That's happening everywhere. So there's been a question this whole time we've been in this game. How does it get paid for?
Man, how do they make money? But I appreciate what Sean McCarthy is saying, because at the end of the day, journalists do have to get paid. Like, that's less, journalism isn't something that's easy and, takes up a lot of time. It's not something you can just do in your free time. This is something that requires people to get paid in order to sustain themselves to do the thing. Sean McCarthy in the chat saying, money-wise, it's tempting not to pay for nonprofits like Flatwater and Nebraska Examiner, but what they do isn't free. So, there is that catch-22. We're talking about paywalls and this kind of gray area where corporate greed, has and can continue to make its way into our information. And also, I will be honest, a little bit of this is also coming from over the weekend. I watched a video essay from essayist FD Signifier.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about the rise of Charlie Kirk and this culture war that we kind of find ourselves in, and we'll be getting into that in a second, and how that culture war has found its way into our university systems. But how that kind of brewed up, how you get to a point where a Charlie Kirk, is almost being what's the word, the opposite of vilified. Like he was deified, like he was almost lifted up to the level of a martyr, you know what I mean?
That is right.
Man, exactly. And how does someone like that get a voice because of the Rush Limbaughs of the world, kind of paving the way in these talk radio shows, and how has communication really made its way throughout this country, and how have we gotten to this point in this country? And quiet is kept. Communication radio, especially low power radio in rural areas, this is how we got here. And no one really paying attention to how these type of efforts are funded, where they're going, who's behind them. And now you have the Sinclairs, as of course we've been talking about that over this season as well, following that money, what's going on with that situation. So again, very interesting where this is going, and definitely want to get into how it has made its way into our university systems, because there's some controversy coming out recently. Actually, a few friends of First Sky have posted in the chat on our group page about in response to really Governor Pillen's move to I guess call for protections against anti-Semitism, which of course is directly tied to the United States love affair with Israel in the university system. This coming from Nebraska Examiner, as Nebraska Governor Jim Pillen has signed an executive order Friday that creates a framework for K-12 schools, colleges, and universities to track and report anti-Semitic behavior to the governor's office. Yeah, here we are. There's a lot of response to that situation. But before we get into that, Paul, you got any take on this?
Not quite. I want to definitely get into it before we start talking about it. It's been a couple. There's been 3 or 4 people that have posted this, and I think it's pretty interesting, this definition of anti-Semitism and how it's being used these days. That was brought out in that post. So I definitely want to get to talking about it. But before we move on too far from that, I just want to make sure that we're still on this idea about strategic communication. This is where all this is coming from. The strategic communication is one of the lanes that we talk about. We talk about lanes of change. It's the lane that we're in, and that is partly of what it is that we're doing. We're not just a news show here, just talking about the news or disseminating the news. We also have the discussion with you, the chat chimers, the ghost listeners, about the news, which is a step beyond that. So actually, when we pull articles like from Nebraska Examiner and all these other places, we realize that we discuss these articles with you more than the writers who are writing the articles are having discussions about the articles. So this is our time to kind of reach out and find out what you feel about these things that are being published, and have some discussion about them. And so far, we've been doing it really for free on YouTube and Facebook. And we talk about all the time what it is about what we should do for the website and how we should put some certain things behind the paywall and so on and so forth, because we're trying to figure out the model as well. But when things happen like how Omaha World Herald up their membership fees, then we start feeling like we're feeling. Sean McCarthy in the chat said it's harder to justify paying for the World Herald. I think they wanted $120 for 6 months. It was a huge hike, and at the same time, the content they deliver continues to be reduced. And they're doing it from, like I said, they've laid off about 75% of their staff. So and their news has been going more national. You can see some of the same stories in other cities because that's the model as well. When you have a shorter staff, you don't have investigative reporters, you don't have people that are on certain beats. And so they're just digging into the same pool of information from AP or wherever that they're getting it, just like everybody else is, and you're hearing some of the same stuff. So, yeah, you're saying it continues to be reduced due to layoffs. Totally. Yeah. Also, Sean McCarthy says KIOS is returning to comedy show Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me on Mondays, and they started to play more BBC content in the afternoon, meaning less local coverage. Totally.
Man,
That's something that they had no choice in as well because of the layoffs. They decided that they had to play more BBC, which was they only played in midnight before. So again, like because of the fact that PBS is being defunded. And they don't have the support. These affiliate stations don't have the support that they used to have. They've had to make a lot of changes in order to keep the lights on over there for sure.
yeah. Actually,
Go ahead.
Miss Erica Feld also in the chat. I didn't catch this, but I definitely appreciate what she's saying. Many large cities no longer have multiple of the same genre. There are too many monopolies now, and we're talking about large cities. Like let's talk about the news deserts and rural areas where there are no at all,
Right.
at all. So how are they getting their information, and what does that mean for how they perceive and view the world around them? Again, this is how we get into this divisiveness and this culture war that we are in this country now.
Big time. Shout out to Flatwater Free Press, who we've mentioned. You guys mentioned them a couple times. Flatwater Free Press is funded by large donations, grants, and so on as well. This is the nonprofit news conglomerate that we've watched grow into this situation, and we kind of know how that is. It is a subscription-based situation. They do need donations from people. They get a lot of donations. They post how many members they have that are regularly pay money each month in order for them to do the kind of news they do. And we've talked about them before as being like one of the only groups out here doing any investigative reporting. Mm-hmm. So they grow and they've grown, but they've also, they have donors. They have big money coming from bigger donors. They service all of Nebraska. So greater Nebraska is a big part of their reporting, which is one of the reasons why they get the big donations that they do. And also, they're there so that they can supplement news in those areas where the newspapers have fallen off, in those rural areas where there's no more paper or a 2-person news desk. Flatwater Free Press is there in order to provide some information for those areas as well. So they're trying to lift a heavy load in this climate of news going away. And we all know news has gone away because the advertising system has gone away. Because Facebook and YouTube and all the big social media platforms have taken over advertising. So it's no longer feasible for you to put an ad in the newspaper and pay hundreds of dollars to get your ad in the newspaper because pretty much Facebook is taking up that whole market. If you're there looking at ads on Facebook, that's where you got to really kind of put the money at. If we're going to do an ad, we got to do it on social media. It's not cost effective to do it on in the newspaper or any other place, on the radio even, and stuff like that. So because that market has gone away, papers have gone away, news desks have gone away. People have gotten laid off on major news desks. It's pretty constant. So again, we've been front and center in this whole situation, trying to figure out how we can do what we're doing, but also seeing the bigger picture here with nonprofit news on the rise and so on. And it's been tough. And what we talked about, I saw you guys talking about this earlier about the like Miss Erica Feld is saying, like this amalgamation of all these stations, the monopolization of them. The deregulation that happened and that allowed private entities and market clubs to be able to buy whole swaths of stations, and this is the reason why you're getting the same news on so many different stations and so on, and just kind of dominating the market. And really, it's like the people like us that are really trying to push social media news and that are doing it for halfway free. That is really the only market kind of left in the strategic communication game, which is the reason why we push stuff like make sure you support Sherman Wells with Sherman and so on. So it's an interesting thing to really kind of get into, and there's a lot more to be said about it, and we will. But before we get to our special guest, I just wanted to make mention something else that happened over the weekend too, was the X Awards over at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation. And shout out to the people that won the awards there as well. Like I'm looking at my man Johnny No Good, Johnny No Good, and also Tyler Payne, who's been doing a lot of good work with the Beyond the Stigma and so on. But I'm also thinking about Johnny No Good, who is a poet and who is a public speaker and a person who is in the communication game himself in a big way, and how that was being recognized there. So shout out to the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation, their X Awards, and that just happened over the weekend. Let us know if you went to that as well. Also, one of our partners over here with 180 Rap Program and also Heart Ministries, which this brother works for both. Shout out to Wayne Tucker from winning the X Award. He's been in the game for a long time helping folks. Like I said, he works at the 180 Rap Program and he works at Heart Ministries, and is all about taking care of people in his long career of being able to do that. So shout out to him for that as well. Kind of reminds me of our awards when we did our Fun Fest, and how we gave Sherman Wells. He's the winner of the 2025 John Heaston Award for Strategic Communication. Shout out to John Heaston. He's, the memorial of his death was yesterday, so he's been gone from us for 2 years, but he was such an integral part of helping start what is now the news landscape that we find ourselves in now. Shout out to John Heaston, and I'm glad we were able to dedicate an award to him. John Heaston Award for Strategic Communication went to Brother Wells last year. So we're considering who this award will go to this year when we do our next Fun Fest. But yeah, if you want to know what we're all about, this is the reason why I took the time to talk about it today. Strategic communication is our lane, and we got to figure it out. Man, I'm so grateful to you, the chat chimers and ghost listeners that are part of the situation here. Just out here, just still trying to get the news, get the information, and be able to discuss it and do something about it. Because we wouldn't have a lane if it was all taken care of. We'd have to do something else. But we can't even handle it all. We really need more. You know what I'm saying? We really need more. So again, thanks for just the fact that you guys seek out the information in the first place and discuss it is huge, and it goes a long way with us figuring out the model for being able to continuously bring it out. And so that's I'm off my soapbox now, but I just wanted to really kind of dig in on this one. Strategic communication is our lane in a big way,
man. And I mean, it plays a big role in almost everything. We're seeing it. I do want to give a shout out to Marlon Harrison, also in the chat, letting us know about some hacks to this access. He says shout out to the Omaha Public Library for having free access to the Omaha World Herald if you get a library card. So there's a plug on that. And then also Sean McCarthy in the chat saying a good number of people's only source of news are podcast sites like Charlie Kirk's and Talk Radio, which profit on keeping listeners pissed off and thus listening more, which again goes back to, the following the money of the communication industry in this nation. You know what I mean? It's just very interesting. Follow the money. And even at, it just seems like there is a battle between billionaires when we talk about communication on both sides, really. You think of, I will say, was it Jeff Bezos' wife that just donated billions and billions of dollars, millions of dollars to public broadcasting? And then also, of course, on the other side, the CEOs of Oracle buying up CBS. And it's definitely a follow the money situation when it comes to our communication. And we'll definitely continue to do that. Yeah. But I do want to take a quick break and smell the coffee beans, if that's okay. Or how are we looking?
Yeah, we can do that in just a second here. We're anticipating our special guest coming in here shortly. I just wanted to say Mackenzie Scott. Put some respect on her name. She ain't Jeff Bezos' ex. She's Mackenzie Scott, giving away millions and billions of dollars in all kinds of places. So yeah, shout out to her. Also, one more thing. I like how Sean McCarthy is saying my financial breakdown. This is something I have to think about this month as well. My financial breakdown support for the month is First Sky, appreciate you, Nebraska Examiner, and KIOS. Okay. So again, we got to pick and choose like who we can support and how much money we have to support and so on. And it's really interesting. I always want to hear what's your financial breakdown of support when it comes to news. If at all, if any, let us know. Shout out to Sean McCarthy here for definitely giving us a little insight on that. I definitely support KIOS as well. Of course, I'm sweat equity in First Sky.
Man, come on, man.
I definitely want to get to. I went to do a little deep dive on following the money on Nebraska Examiner. They have a major donor as well, but they also are doing that too. So and also Flatwater Free Press. Like this is another one we want to make sure that we support. But there's other ones out there, man. Like we could support Untamed. We can support Sherman Wells' page. We can support a lot of people that are doing some things as well. Dreamland Report with Joaquin is up and is rolling too, and it's a 501c3 as well. So there's a few of them out there, and if there was more funds, the same with us. If there was more funds, we'd be able to extend our journalism, which is absolutely needed. But again, we're out here trying to figure out how to do that. So for everybody who is supporting us right now, really appreciate it. Like it's like I can't even tell you like how much I appreciate the fact that you're rolling with us while we figure these things out, while we figure out how to utilize what the little bit that we get in to keep this thing rolling. So shout out to everybody who is putting in sweat equity and money and attention and time and contributing to the chat. I just want to really give a shout out to the people that are all about it, because we would not be doing this. This is obviously just only a conversation with us, with our constituents here in Omaha, Nebraska and beyond. So yeah, without that, just wouldn't be happening. Let us take a quick break. We really appreciate everybody hanging in there with us through that discussion. Again, didn't plan on having that extensive discussion here. I was feeling the vibe of being able to explain this, explain what we go through all the time, just trying to figure it out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
So, yep. Smell the coffee beans. We'll take a quick break. Stay tuned. You're listening to First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B. He's Buddy to God.
Hey.
Back, y'all. Jeez. With the little West Coast whistle on the back of it. I like that. I like
a little bit, a little something.
Little G-funk on it. Man, Buddy the guy, you a talented dude, bro.
Thanks, brother. Thank you.
Welcome back. You're listening to First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B. He's Buddy the God. Yeah, really appreciate all your comments on this and insights as well. Again, let us know what Sean McCarthy calls your financial breakdown of support is. If any, and we understand if it's not, man, we got too many things we dealing with already in the first place. And we kind of all used to not really having to pay for news so much, especially if we weren't of the generation that paid for the newspaper to be delivered to us and all that type of thing. So interesting stuff. And it all comes at a price. We're paying one way or another. We can watch free news all we want to, but then we got to watch all the commercials that come with it and everything else. So we're paying for it one way or another. Michael Watts in the chat says podcasts seem to be low cost, so wonder what are barriers to having more in North Omaha, new space of learning for me. Brother, we can talk all day about the barriers of keeping up a regular podcast, free or not, because nothing's free. It all takes your time. It all takes your energy. I get up at 5 a.m. to prepare for the show. I started preparing the night before. So even just to pull stories and pull articles to have the discussions is a time we kind of had to break it down. We had to break it down. It's a 32-hour a week job just to do this part, and that's on top of whatever other work we got going on.
Man,
so we can speak to our situation, and it's hard to imagine what everybody else is doing. And that's with us not really having, not really spending money on ads. So all the time marketing is us. All the phone calls that we take from everybody around town that have a story, us. If there's any outside events happening, we've been paying for us to do this more the best way to say that is that it's never been a situation where we came up overdoing this. This is also, we found funding in certain places, but it was, you know, it's not sustainable. And we it's been a constant struggle for 5 years to make it happen, and it has involved several other full-time jobs and other things and other side hustles in order to make happen. So we can talk about our experience. There's a lot of other people that have it too. Tony Johnson says, I choose to not pay for anything unless I have exhausted the source I am already paying for through taxes. Library is my first stop for info. Highly suggest that. I love that. I love that that's what you do. Use the library. The resource is incredible, and we happen to have an incredible set of resources here in Omaha, especially for that. Sean McCarthy says, when I was unemployed, unfortunately, I had to cancel some donations as well as some magazine subscriptions. Yep. For me, those are the first things to go. I'm sure Netflix and them hate to see me coming, because it'd be 1 month I'll have it. The next month it'd be like, well, I got to save that $20. So, yeah, I'm off and on and things all the time, bro. Like, got to do what you got to do when it's time. He says, one creative writing podcaster had a great point about organizing, like for Sky. The show is free, but it sure as hell ain't cheap.
Man.
Ain't lying. RG says, fellas, you need some journalism interns. Well,
I'm working on it.
I gotta tell you, when back in the for us old heads, RG, interns meant work for free. Don't mean that no more. You got to pay interns these days, because they figured out how unfair it was just to have them running around doing stuff for free. But yeah, and that's just not our style anyway. Anybody does anything for us, we pay them. So if we don't have the money, we just have to do it ourselves. That's how we've been doing it. But as you can see, the gray's coming in. But we're gonna keep on keeping on. And that's what it is. So thanks to everybody who's discussing this with us. We really appreciate it. 7:56 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we're coming up in the to the second hour. Before we get there, though, buddy, I know that you got some stuff laid out there that we want to jump into. What you got going?
Yeah, just kind of on the back end of why this conversation we're having about strategic communication and, you know, quote unquote democratizing and, you know, making information more accessible, because we see the impact that we have. Again, I appreciate what Sean McCarthy was saying earlier, as far as again saying a good number of people's only source of news are podcasts like Charlie Kirk and talk radio. I mean, so much so we're now at a point where I'll go on a limb and say over half of the president's cabinet are podcasters, like especially a lot
or wrestlers.
Man, right, or both. I mean, yeah. So again, you know, just that is a prime example of how much influence, you know, these spaces have as far as communication channels on our nation, and the impact is huge. It's huge. So much so, of course, now that we're seeing it not just play out in, you know, our media landscape, but also in our education landscape. Of course, we had the whole CRT situation over the last couple of years, and now this anti-Semitism is becoming a brewing thing, as we've seen really so far this year. Students, protesters, even faculty be arrested at colleges and universities throughout the nation for protesting what they're seeing in the Middle East. And now it's reached Nebraska, as on Friday, Governor Pillen signed an executive order, again, creating framework for K-12 schools, colleges, and universities to track and report anti-Semitic behavior to the governor's office. Pillen, who it is important to point out, as this article does, apparently Pillen was a former University of Nebraska regent. So he's been in leadership in the university system in the state of Nebraska, and during a Capitol press conference said that his executive action is meant to, quote unquote, fight anti-Semitism. The order will require each public K-12 school district, community college, and four-year higher education institution to file an annual report with the state that documents complaints and incidents of anti-Semitism that occurred during an academic year, as well as any findings from investigations of such incidents. The order uses the definition of anti-Semitism as displayed in the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, which says, again, anti-Semitism is a certain perception of Jews which may be expressed as hatred towards Jews. But of course, this isn't just about Jews, Judaism, but also, of course, the United States connection to Israel. The IHRA, which again is the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, also says manifestations of anti-Semitism might include language targeting the state of Israel. Pillen said he pursued the order in part because of a legislative bill 538 did not pass during the last legislative session. That bill would have required specific training on combating anti-Semitism for both public school and university employees. And again, what's going on in the Middle East has been a huge point of contention in the United States in many areas. But again, colleges and universities historically are supposed to be areas where thought, free thought, kind of conversation, debate, political ideologies can be shared and discussed and hashed out. But yet here we have it, kind of again following the suit of President Trump, as we call Pillin Trump Jr. Again, Trump has sued many universities for some of the things that they're espousing, reporting, teaching, reportedly. So again, here we are. What say you?
Yeah, a couple of times that this got put in Friends of First Guy Omaha from this organization called Party for Socials and Socialism and Liberation. Sorry, they made it all one word, so I couldn't figure it out. Socialism and Liberation, the Party for Socialism and Liberation, put this post out that was reposted on Friends of First Guy Omaha that really had a point in it about using anti-Semitism as a phrase that we know that is when you have hatred and violence against Jews and so on, but now it's being used for anybody who has any criticisms at all as well, used in this way. So that kind of made me think again about this, what it is that's happening here, why this mandate is here, and I don't know. It's kind of an interesting situation. For the reason why this has been a topic of conversation here. So yeah, I kind of want to hear from the chat on this as well. What say you on this particular decree? It's just it's tough when you say it all the time, buddy. It's Trump Jr. It's almost like trying to match what is being done on a national level here to show solidarity is what it always seems like to me is happening for no good reason.
I just question why this is even necessary. Like, isn't it already illegal for federal institutions who receive federal funding to espouse any discriminatory teachings?
It's a good question.
Like, isn't it already illegal for these types of institutions to be discriminatory? I thought that's what the civil rights was about.
Didn't they peel that back? Reverse racism? RG said it earlier. Pops is saying it here. Has Pillin signed any anti-blackism paperwork? Yeah. 8:02 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, it's about to get real raw around here now on the second hour. That's how we like to do it. So we appreciate everybody that's joining us, and we do have a special guest waiting in the wings. So we'll go ahead and bring him in, and let's see what Brother Senator McKinney, put some respect on his name, has to say about what's going on around here. Senator McKinney, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How y'all doing?
Good. How you doing?
All right.
I'm good.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. Yeah, everything good, with the family? Everything all right?
Yeah, everything's been straight. Cool.
You look good, man. Wide awake. Unlike me this morning, you look like
you tired.
Had enough sleep. What's going on?
I don't think I ever get enough.
Yeah.
That part, busy brother. How has the interim been treating you? You been taking a break from legislative work, or you still neck deep in it?
It's been cool. I mean, technically, I've been traveling a lot to different conferences, just kind of learning up on some things. So to know.
Yeah, I think the last time we spoke to you, you were preparing to go out of town, or were you just coming back?
I can't remember. I've been too many places, honestly, since that session. But yeah, I went to Canada like a legislative exchange trip, and then went to build trip for this development group for the National Conference of State Legislators to nominate some people from Nebraska to go through that program. And then I recently went to Bozeman, Montana for a career pathway conference, just talking about jobs and making sure we transition our high schoolers and kids out of school along some good career paths, things like that.
That's what's up. All productive sounding stuff.
Yeah.
Well, actually, get into some of that as far as the finances and things here in a second. Economic development, especially for Black folk. I know you've been talking about that as a something that needs to be done in tandem with some of the legislation, some of the education and things. Let's talk about that as far as job pathways and economic development in the state of Nebraska. Any takeaways from that conference and changes in it, or not even necessarily changes, but how you feel about the direction the state is going?
We just push us further and further behind the honestly, with a lot of things that have occurred over the last year and probably over the last 4 years. We've programs that transition kids to good career pathways. Our schools, honestly, our school system dated. If we being, it's not situated to actually prepare our kids for life after high school or life in general. It's too stuck in the 90s where I learn, and when you go to today, you walk in and half the class sleep or on a tablet or on a phone. So I don't feel like our education system has adapted to, that's the problem with these outcomes. When you look at the graduation rates and how many kids are within our school systems, it's pathetic. And I think a part of that is the system has not adapted to the kids. It's not engaging them in a great way, especially young males. To think that we all see all the evidence that attention spans are lessened. Like the data that we have, education system still doesn't utilize it to best educate our kids, and that's the problem.
Wow,
man. Which actually brings us right into what we're talking about as far as the culture wars, quote unquote, find themselves into not only our university systems, but again, it is important to point out that this executive order from Pillen also includes K through 12 schools, public schools, and things like that. What do you feel about what Pillen is doing and kind of the quote unquote culture wars and a lot of the politics making their way into education? And that seems to be more the focus than what you're saying as far as just quality of education and pathways to economic development.
It shows you how bad our priorities are as a state from the top. Honestly, I just think it's performative. School is out, so what kids are in school right now? So what I don't really, me, is just more performative and political more than to Palestinian people are these evil people and things like that. It's just crazy, bro. Like these people are being bombed for how many years now? They've lost countless family members and family. It's ridiculous, and for to governor come up with a statement like that, it's just wrong. We have Palestinian people in the state of Nebraska. When the war started, a group came to my office and we sat down and talked for a long time about what was going on, and they were showing me what we don't see on the CNN Fox News, the videos they was from their families, and it's horrific. And just our governor priorities. I mean, it's like I don't have a lot of words besides racism, bigotry, and incompetence. Honestly, we just that's about.
Were you a part of the debates around this bill, a legislative bill 538, which again would have done exactly what Pillen is trying to do?
I don't think that came to the floor. I went to the education committee, but I don't think it came to the floor. So, no, because I don't sit on education.
Okay.
I just tied together. Mm-hmm.
No, you good.
I was just saying that I'm kind of tying this together with something that we reported a while back about the Charlie Kirk's school. What's the Charlie Kirk school?
Turning Point
that is also getting pushed in all the school systems around this, through this administration as well. So now, when you think about this thing that he just signed, it does seem like it's part of that whole strategy.
I mean, we just got to be honest with the state or we're in as a nation or a state or a country. You know, they want to take back to where they feel like we should be, and that white supremacy, anti-blackness, anti-everybody. That's where they want us to be. They want to subjugate people that look like us, and for whatever reason, they feel like under attack. When you look at history, white people, like I don't understand it, but I do understand it because it's the reality that we're in. When you look at what's going on across the world, European and white nations are the problem. Destroyed Africa. They ended our ancestors. Came to the Americas and took land from Native American people and spread disease. Like it's all, and they don't want it to be there, but when they gotta look in the mirror, they can't look at themselves, and that's just the facts.
Yeah, you ain't lying. Appreciate your
honesty.
Thoughts on these things. Yeah, man, your perspective. This is the last Senators Cypher of the season. The session is out, so you've been doing some traveling and gaining more knowledge on some things and seeing things from a different perspective. We know that we've been following what's been going on in the legislature with you this whole time. There's been things that you've been fighting. You've been reporting back about how crazy things seem and look in the unicameral. Last part of the session, some things surprisingly got passed. Your assessment of the session overall, is the needle moving at all? Do you feel like there's been enough successes to really feel like there might be some leeway there, some runway there to move forward on some things? What's your thoughts?
I mean, it's a wait and see. Pass bills, and then we need the state agencies to actually implement them properly and do the right thing. That's, I think, like, we don't fully probably communicate it best, but we pass laws, and the laws tell these agencies and these other entities to do, and sometimes they do it the right way, and sometimes they don't. So I would say it's wait and see. Always feel like it's never enough, especially for North Omaha and the district I represent. It's never, I don't know, ever going to be enough because of the years of disinvestment and just everything that's occurred in our community until we get something like reparations or something like that. And I don't know, I still don't feel like that would be enough, just because the compound impact of all of the things that occurred to our community. So they always, when I go try to get money in the legislature, passed the economic recovery, didn't that help us? Like, yeah, but that wasn't enough. That didn't even scratch the surface of what we actually deserve. We should have got the full, and that still wouldn't have been enough. So I mean, it's just a wait and see, man, because some things don't,
Man, it's funny you said that. You really kind of answered my next question before I asked it, but we got to talk about it. We have it teed up here later on in the show. Try to get to what Ben Crump and LL Cool J is doing with DreamFi. Again, Ben Crump, now a nationally known civil rights lawyer, has gotten victories in certain courts, in certain cases as far as civil rights, and even he's saying he doesn't think that the courts are enough to really combat and fight and correct what has been historically wrong in this country. But it even is is reparations enough? Like it's funny you say that. Like reparations laws being passed. Like what do you feel like is enough? Like what should we be going for in this country? Even as somebody who's a lawmaker in this historic time in this country, it is interesting to hear what you're saying.
I mean, we should be going for reparations. We definitely should, but it can't be a one-time thing. It has to be an over-time thing, and I mean a century-long thing. You know, that you got to think back to 619 into 2026. We need it in perpetuity. Like it can't just be let's pass a bill, black people X amount of dollars, and then everybody clap hands and say everything is offered. And then with the courts, you got to think like they've appointed a lot of conservative or racist judges across this country over the past decade. So it's harder to get in courts to see what's happening in a court where voting rights are attacked, redistricting and things like that. So yes, we need changes in the courts. Yes, we need the courts to help us. Yes, we need reparations. Yes, things, but it can't be a one time. There's a silver bullet changer. It has to be a bunch of things over time because that's how bad it's been. And this stuff that has occurred to our people didn't just happen in 10 or 20 years or 30 or 40 years. It's centuries.
As a law student, you know, we hear this word reparations thrown around a lot and loosely. From your perspective, from a legal lens, what is reparations, and kind of can you kind of break it down from your perspective what reparations actually is?
From my perspective, reparations is basically a tool to try to do right about a wrong. Essentially, it's basically giving something that happened at some point in time. That's terms. It's just saying we messed up. Here you go. Is what it's supposed to be.
Which again goes back to. Go ahead.
Yeah, but as we've seen, black people aren't afforded that. What a lot of other people in this country have been given reparations. Trump is trying to give people that stormed the Capitol on January 6th reparations. So when people talk like, oh, it's not enough money, you'll never get it, the evidence is all there. Like, it's just they don't want to give it to us. That's essentially what it comes down to. Is like they don't feel like people deserve, or descendants of African enslaved deserve to be or basically, you know, provided something harm historically.
Yeah, and I've actually heard the argument that there's actually not just the history of slavery that, you know, needs to be repaired, but also Jim Crow, which is a whole other set of, you know, harms done to us, and then also the crack epidemic, which I think can be, you know, legally proven that it targeted certain classes of people. But at the same time, it is very interesting that I'm glad you pointed out that distinction, because I am thinking of the recent UN designation. I think it was Nigeria or Ghana that brought this amongst the UN to recognize slavery as one of the worst, if not the worst, crime against humanity. And again, the United States, one of only 3 countries to not acknowledge that and sign on to it. So there again, that goes back to the narrative, you know, that goes back to the culture war that we all find ourselves in. And again, it's very interesting where, you know, putting this anti-Semitism where we see Jews, you know, constantly getting reparations for the Holocaust and things like that. It's a very interesting conversation, very nuanced, but we gotta have the conversation at some point. From a legal standpoint, do you think that and we'll get into it here in a second, we've seen states like California, we've seen states like now New York having their own reparations commission, in lieu of it happening at the federal level, as we see, that's a far-fetched reality right now. What do you think about handling it from a state perspective? What does that look like?
I mean, California pretty much stopped their process. I mean, they did study, but nothing's happening currently. Maryland, I think Maryland passed something, but governor, I think, vetoed the New York. You know, now they're arguing about how much money people get per person. So, I mean, honestly, it just comes down to when political. Do people really feel as though we should repair for the harm that has occurred to our states and in this country? That's what it's going to come down to. Because honestly, I don't think it's about much about whether people are going to actually show that they stand with us or not. Because you think about a Maryland, California, you think about a New York. If you can't get the process done in those states, like, come on, like in those close states, like, you get what I'm saying? If it can't happen, if it's slowed down in those places, the reality is in Nebraska, it's an uphill battle. I've introduced legislation to try to do reparations and reconciliation and those type of study, just a study, and tied it to me that they think about, but still it gets in committee. So, I mean, it's just where we're at. You know, allies, people that supposed to be on our side, that's not on our side. So, I mean, that's the problem.
Yeah, when I think about this situation too, I definitely think about the the argument behind reparations. Like you said, it needs to be something that's ongoing. I definitely think that one of the problems is how much is enough when that harm has been done in such a huge way. And I also think about reparations as such a huge issue because there has been no reconciliation at all before that. I think that even before, giving a bunch of money away, there's a whole lot of stuff legally in just in government in general that could repair a lot of that damage has been able to repair the damage over time, can repair the damage over time. And even with giving away money needs to still happen. And since none of that has happened, it doesn't seem likely that even giving a sum of money would fix anything. We can't go back to like the Obama era where we got a black president now, so there's no more racism anymore, or we got a check, so there's no more racism anymore, or anything like that. Because you're right, it continues on, and they rather put the efforts behind erasing the history and making it so that young kids don't know what their ancestors did in school and everything else. They rather just say it didn't happen than to address anything that the need and the want, like you're explaining, like just the political will to want to fix this, to want to do something about it and make it the playing field even again. So it definitely does feel like a exercise instead of a actual solution to anything. I think the exercise is important. They should be having these conversations in New York, $800,000 per person or whatever it is, whatever number they trying to come up with, but it's definitely an exercise, not a solution to anything. And you're right. Like I think about record company talk when they talk about in perpetuity in the universe forever is how they need to be dealing with us on any of this.
Yeah, and I just think path forward, and I'll toss it to you, Senator. But I am wondering. I also think about this time, Douglas County. You talked about studies, trying like how hard it is to get studies, but there are studies that link racism to health. Health. I think it was Douglas County again recognized racism as a health crisis. Can those types of studies maybe be used to bolster an argument, or have you even thought about being creative in that respect?
I mean, it looks good, Douglas County saying with the health crisis, but what has Douglas County done to address racism in its county? Like, where is the policy behind this thing? Like, what have they done besides tell us they need to open up a jail to house black kids and probably percent of minorities? Like, I don't know. Like, what have they done? That's what I always ask myself. And outside of the state investing in North Omaha, for example, what has the county done? We need to ask these real questions. What has the city done to actually invest in North Omaha? Like, really? Like, we got to be real about this. Like, what money has the city put up to actually invest in North Omaha? Tell me $1. Tell me $1 that the county has invested. Tell me $1 that the school system has actually invested. We got to ask these questions because I think it's only fair.
With that,
honestly, I don't even think there is a dollar amount that can be put on it. Even if we got
right, because there can't.
Even if every individual received trillions of dollars, we're not going to get back what we lost. Go ahead.
Because you can't recover the lost language. You can't recover the lost history, the lost lineages. Like, it's too much, which why I said it has to be forever. They have to continue to live and continue to whatever. Like, I don't think you could put a dollar amount on it, but that doesn't mean you don't do something.
Right. Man. Yeah. I'm gonna jump in the chat. Pops in the chat says Japanese Americans received formal apologies and reparations for their internment during World War II. Surviving internees received a formal presidential apology and a tax-free $20,000 each.
And that was for 4 years.
But everybody that's received home, we're home.
You said a mouthful with that one.
Yeah,
you said a mouthful with that one. This is the reason why I say so-called black here on the show, which again is also the reason why I feel like just throwing money at the situation isn't enough. Technically, we're a stateless people.
Because even saying African American is crazy because Africa is a continent and America is a continent. we're people without a home, honestly. Like, when you talk to other people, they're English American, Italian American, Mexican American, Japanese American. How can we say? I think it's the PC way not to just say we black as far as African American, but Africa is a continent, literally. And honestly speaking, if we're gonna be truthful, there's a couple countries on the continent that don't like to be identified as African. So it's crazy to say, like, we essentially are people without a home, and it's because of the enslavement of our ancestors and European imperialism and colonialism and all those things, and that's the problem. So,
well, and it's the continued viewpoint that black people who are born in America aren't Americans. It's the continued viewpoint and actions that keep that a thing, and those are some of the things I feel like if they could do something about, if they could fix that, if that part could be fixed, then you would get somewhere. But that's just never. It doesn't feel like it's ever going to be there. Like I said, they put more energy in deciding they're going to erase the history than repairing it. RG in the chat is saying, what do children do when they're embarrassed about something they did? They try to make it like it never happened. This is what I'm seeing happening all over the place. So America is a childlike approach to addressing its history with black people. When I think about the lawsuits and the things that have gone on in schools because they don't want teachers teaching them about the history, and so that little white kids don't feel bad when they hear about what their ancestors did and so on, like all the efforts are going to that and not anything else. And it really comes down to, here we are 8:28 in the morning on Monday, if you believe in the concept of time, and we're sitting here talking about what is never going to be given us. So how do we go get it ourselves? What do we do for ourselves in the way that we need to survive here? And we're kind of leaving off on this idea that we're a people without a nation. How do we nation build? Is the nation time yet? What time?
It's been nation time.
It's been nation time. I think all the people that in during Black History Month, and I was just at the Malcolm X banquet last night. We got to do it by any means necessary. We can't wait on our to help us. We got to help ourselves. We got to build these economies for ourselves in media, whether it's in education or anything. I think that's what we're getting to anyway, because if for instance, I used to think it was a wild, but not really no more. What if they just decide to, legalize segregation again? It's going to be on us.
I mean, it seems like that's what they're doing.
I think we have to get back in that space, and we got to just saying like nobody's coming to help us. There's no black messiah that we could prop up that's gonna do something to help us either. It's all of us as a unit. We mountains, but if we're all against each other and fighting over different petty things, when the war being waged against us, then we ain't gonna get nowhere.
You ain't lying. Well said. Not too much more to say on that, man. For real. So we appreciate you coming through here and kind of wrapping up some things. I know that we're going to definitely ask you over the break if you want to come back and do Senator Cypher again next season for sure. But in the meantime, we definitely wanted to have this last one so we can kind of see where we stand as we move through the summer, as we move through the session, the session and the break in the session. What is it that we should be keeping our eye on? What is it we can be doing? Of course, we got the November elections coming up that is important. What politically speaking, for political power, what else can we do during this upcoming time?
I mean, during this upcoming time, I would, say, me and Senator Spivey, we have a town hall coming up. I think Roundtree has another one on the 22nd. There will be other. I would just say show up to city council, show up to school board, inland port, show up to OHA, show up to these meetings, because a lot of things are happening to our community, and if we're not showing up, then our voices, they already don't care about our voices, but especially if we're not there, they're going to disregard anything they care about. So I think just showing up to these spaces and essentially just either listening or speaking your mind about what things should or should not be happening, and just get back in community, engage with people. That's the biggest thing. I think the way I dislike about the pandemic was prior to, there used to be more community like not even community meetings. People were just getting up and kicking it and having conversations, and not Zoom meetings and all those types of things. People were actually engaging, and I think that's the one thing that got lost in the pandemic, was we lost a lot of what we feel like was needed in North Omaha, as far as like people getting in conversations and then just enjoying each other,
living alive with one another. We believe it too.
Yeah.
So maybe we can do some more of that. We'll definitely try to put some things together this summer as well. Summer's a really good time to do all these things. Get outside with the fam and everything else to do just that. So again, Chat Chimers Kickback coming soon. Look for that date. Hopefully you'll be able to come to Senator McKinney. Anything else that's out there that you feel like is a good thing for us to engage in, let us know. We'll try to pull up as well. So with that, man, I just I appreciate your time. I did have one more question before we get out of here. Is just about your coaching situation. You still coaching for wrestling? How's the season going, or is there a season? What's going on with the young wrestlers these days?
The season is over, but there's a wrestling camp down B Academy. It started this morning. Well, yeah, it starts at 9 until the middle of July with regular wrestling. So kids in high school will be down there every day from, I think, 9 to 3, training and try better and then just enjoy each other. But I'll be down there. I won't be down there the whole time or every day, but I'll be down there a lot for sure.
Is that a program? Is that something we can shoot some donations to? How do we support that?
Ready RP is one of, I think, in North Omaha, one of 2 wrestling clubs that's left in North Omaha. It's P and the Sherman Challengers that I think is left in North Omaha. So, yeah, you could definitely donate to Ready RP. I'm definitely it. A lot of the kids are from, all the kids are from our community. So, the need is definitely there. Sure, like they be able to take trips with the team, the tournaments, those type of things.
Word. Okay. I'm gonna put the Facebook page in the chat real quick for people to check on it and see if you can get to that page where you can donate. Man, slide a couple bucks over for this team, for sure. That's what's up. Looks like they just had a banquet on May 23rd. Okay.
Yeah, getting down.
Yeah. Ready RP. All right, man. Appreciate that, man. And don't hesitate. Let us know, things we can support and stuff like that. Throwing their friends up, or you can hit us up directly, of course, all the time. And we're going to keep on trying to push the word out. It's all about action for us, man, the rest of this year, for real. Next season is called Teamwork Makes the Dream Work. So we're going to be really talking about building more coalitions, living alive with one another, all the stuff. So I would, if you're willing to come back, we can definitely come back and make those the topics of conversation, and not just conversation, but topics of action. So we can put some things together. And I know you're all about it. So hopefully we can continue with you then.
Sure, definitely willing to come back. And as always, I appreciate y'all for offering this space to me to be able to come on and engage y'all in the community. So thanks for everything y'all do.
Thank you, sir. Man. Take care of yourselves, bro. We'll see you soon.
Peace.
Next season for sure, we're gonna make sure that we get him a little booster on the internet.
Right. Yeah. Get him right.
You might have to get one of these 57s and these 57s right here. Yep.
Like butter, baby.
Let's take a quick break. We'll come back and continue the conversation. You're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning. My name is Paul B. He's Buddy to God. We'll be right back, y'all.
Get ready, Omaha. Join us for the Omaha Freedom Festival, a free, family-friendly celebration of Juneteenth on June 13th at Miller Park. Enjoy free food, community resources, and family fun from 12 to 5 p.m. Play basketball, kickball, dance, activities for all ages. Enter for a chance to win great prizes. Download your free day pass now at omahafreedomfestival.com. Celebrate freedom, family, food, and fun. The Omaha Freedom Festival. Everyone's invited and everything's free. Step into history at the Omaha Freedom Festival with our Negro Leagues and Black Baseball Storytelling Series, a powerful celebration of America's baseball legacy. Join us Saturday, June 13th, 2026 at Gene Leahy Mall Pavilion. Hear from historians and icons as they bring the rich history of the Negro Leagues to life. Just download your free ticket at omahafreedomfestival.com. Don't miss this celebration of history, heritage, and America's game. Only at the Omaha Freedom Festival. We're turning up the heat for Omaha Freedom Festival's night concert with Carrie Hilson, Life Jennings, and R&B superstar and Grammy-nominated Nivea, hosted by Josh Jones and music by DJ Chang. Don't miss one of the biggest R&B nights Omaha has ever seen. Join us Saturday, June 13th at Gene Leahy Mall Pavilion. Doors open at 7 p.m. Concert starts at 8:30 with fireworks after. Tickets at omahafreedomfestival.com or in person at LaFleur's New Look Fashion. Celebrate culture, music, and community at the Omaha Freedom Festival.
Welcome back. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddy to God. Hey. Freedom Festival, man. We sit over here with some VIP tickets. Player. We're going to have Brother Calvin on next week to talk about that and do some giveaways. So mark your calendars down on some of those things. Like I said, lots going on Juneteenth. It's already began. Shout out to Willie Williams. That's letting us know about the flag raising today that's happening. Definitely dive in with her and see where all the Juneteenth activities that for the next 2 weeks are actually happening. And then shout out to Freedom Tainment and Calvin Williams and those guys putting on these concerts as well. Other things going on, man. I found interesting. The Gene Haynes Open golf outing is coming up June 4th, Sunday, June 4th, which is my birthday. On Sunday morning, I had to go smash a little white ball out there. So, let's see what's going on that day. There is a link that you got to check it out so you can register and get down with that. But yeah, man, I wonder if Brother May Haynes is gonna be out there. I guess he will be, huh?
Yeah.
We'll have to see. You go ahead and hit that so you can get some more information. The Omaha North High School Foundation invites you to the Gene Haynes Open Golf Outing, Sunday, June 4th, 2023, tee off at 10 a.m. Sounds like a good time, so I have to dive in. I know, buddy. I know you're going to dive in and see what's happening with that one.
Oh, yeah.
Also, shout out to Tamara Dwyer, the homeless coordinator over at the mayor's office, who put this in Friends of First Sky Omaha. America reduced homelessness for the first time in almost a decade, but of course, Trump's new proposals will take us backwards. She talks about saying for the first time since 2016, overall homelessness in America has decreased. Homelessness service providers have spent years building and refining the programs that drove these reductions. There's a hard truth. The progress we are celebrating today is now at serious risk. The Trump administration is trying to cut the very programs that made this possible. If these rollbacks continue, experts warn we'll be back to record high levels of homelessness before long. And there's a press release that I can get you the link to here in a second. But just wanted to give a little attention to that. Of course, we've been seeing programs rolled back throughout the country, and right here in the state, big time rollbacks all the time. So that's what it is. Okay, there you go. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Actually, glad you brought that up. I was going to talk about that here in a second as we prepare for tonight. With shout out to our partners at Film Streams with the Florida Project, which again is a film that talks exactly about that, talking about homelessness and especially youth homelessness in Florida, actually around the Disney area, which is interesting. It's supposed to be a dream come true there, but not for everybody. So
yeah, powerful film.
Yeah. Shout out to everybody that's about that.
Yes, please come check it out tonight. Support that program again. Yeah, our partners at Film Streams providing this third space. Got experts on the panel. It'll be great. It'll be a good time to really kind of have a discussion about what can be done here. And again, homelessness is not just you standing outside with a sign on the side of the freeway. It's hopping around from hotel to hotel, to hopping around to somebody's car, to somebody's couch, to somebody's spare bedroom or whatever the deal. Any place that's not permanent that you can call home, you're in a little bit of trouble. It's a precarious situation, especially if you got kids. So that's another reason why this film is super powerful. So I highly suggest you go check it out. Again, Omaha Checkup is presenting with UNMC and Film Streams the Florida Project. It's going down tonight at 6:30 at the Ruth Sokoloff Theater. That's the one that's in North Downtown. And so definitely come check it out. Hopefully we'll see you there. 8:42 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we got a little bit more to talk about to wrap this up. Thank you for everybody's comments and respect for the guests. And here we are, buddy. What you feeling like? What's going on with you?
Yeah, want to give some more context to a couple of stories that we've talked about already through our conversation. Again, shout out to Senator McKinney and his input to the conversation. And man, it's beautiful how the conversation kind of just comes together sometimes, even even when I'm not planning on it to do so. But it just falls together. It's a beautiful thing, man. As we talked about again, far prospect for Nebraska to talk about reparations on the state level, but we have seen that happen in several other areas. New York is the latest. This being reported, Governor Kathy Hochul in 2023 signed a bill creating a commission to study slavery in New York and examine forms of reparations. Some Black New Yorkers are demanding cash reparations from the government as state officials consider some form of compensation for the history of slavery or other past racial injustices. One New Yorker, Aubrey Muhammad, told Fox News Digital, we need $800,000 for each foundation of Black Americans, and that's in New York. That's about the cost of living that you'll get your home or small business, or for you to recover from any financial duress. Which, side note, we opened up this story or this conversation today talking about this Washington Post report that I could not get into because they had a paywall. Again, that report talks about that very thing as far as the impact that the wealth gap has on our health. Again, we say health is wealth, a lot here on the show, but it is a real thing. Again, the African History Network is reporting through an article from Washington Post that nearly 50% of the black-white mortality gap is linked to chronic stress from racism, trauma, and you guessed it, economic hardship. In short, this is killing us. In reality, this is killing us. Again, a very, very interesting conversation happening in New York in that regard. The New York State Community Commission on Reparations Remedies held a public hearing last Saturday. The hearing followed up when Governor Kathy Hochul again signed the bill to create the commission. The Empire State again joined several others, as we just talked about. California also. And not just states, but local municipalities are also taking it upon themselves to look into issues, looking to issue reparations in some form and compensating Black residents for slavery or other instances of racial injustice. Again, Chicago, particularly, went as far as paying $25,000 in cash to Black residents to address past racial housing discrimination through its program, which again, shout out to Chris Baby Boy Bowling of Flatwater Free Press. Again, we talked about, Nebraska not necessarily being a slave state. You go back to the Kansas and Nebraska Act and the role that Nebraska played in the Civil War sparking off. But again, when you think about the history of Will Brown, when you think about, again, what Chris Baby Boy Bowling has reported on as far as the racial covenants that still exist in some of the areas in Omaha, it is a point of conversation to look at reparations, even at the city level. So again, we talk about reparations, and oftentimes it is talked about at the federal level. But there's conversation for county level, city level, state level, really to kind of open our mind up to really correct the wrongs that we all know are haunting this nation. So there is that. And then also we can get into what Ben Crump is doing to take it upon himself, because that is a point as well, as we talked to Senator McKinney, and he's saying, take it upon yourself. Don't wait on, quote unquote, the enemy to correct their wrongs and to acknowledge the things that they've done, which again, Ben Crump, who has found success on the battlefield, in the courts, saying we can't keep suing banks and winning settlements. That alone will not create lasting change. So again, Brother Crump has taken it into his own hand, becoming the co-founder of DreamFi, which is a financial tech platform designed to provide access to banking, financial literacy, and wealth building tools to underserved Black and Brown communities. So, Paul, you kind of brought this to my attention. What say you?
Yeah, I don't have much to say about it yet. I actually just learning about it, so I'm gonna dig in and find out what's going on. And kind of on the surface, seems like just another online bank, but it's saying it has more financial tools and stuff in order for you to build wealth. Don't quite know what that means. I'm kind of definitely in that world of being a little skeptical about what that means, because it's all financial tools. Mm-hmm. It's not like I doubt there's anything that's being built that's brand new. It's just being focused on a people, hopefully. But it's probably backed by a bank, and everything else that we learned about situations with Black banks. So I definitely want to see what's going on. I mean, these are a couple of folks. They are teamed up and putting this on, and I appreciate the work that both of these folks have done. Ben Crump has been on the front lines. LL Cool J is I've watched him over the years in the hip hop world grow into this individual who's trying to be more conscious and do things for the community in a grown man way. So I'm looking forward to digging in and seeing what's going on there. We all got to be ready though to deal with our own finances, to deal with our own getting our money straight, and so on and so forth. I know I do. So when I see this kind of stuff come up, I'm like, yeah, it might be cool. I might move the needle a little bit with it, but at the same time, I got to be ready. I got to, when I'm ready to dig in and try to figure out what it is that I got to do about my finances, I will, and hopefully I'll come across tools like this. So we'll see. That's really kind of all I have to say about it. I don't really know anybody who has heard about this quite yet, so there's not too much to discuss on it yet. So I highly suggest you, the Chat Chimers, Ghost listeners, dig in, see if this is something that is something that can help and move the needle. Everybody has the idea to build some wealth in the Black community, but what does that really mean? So we got to see. What say you, buddy? How you feeling about it?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of thoughts. You talked about LL Cool J's, input on this, and again, LL Cool J will actually be serving as kind of the face of it. The hip hop pioneer, according to the article, will lead digital content, community engagement efforts, and educational initiatives aimed at expanding financial awareness, particularly in communities that have historically lacked access to traditional financial systems. And I'm thinking about his Rock the Bells platform, which of course they have a radio station on XM, but it's more than just the music. Kind of looking at the website, there is a mission behind the platform that was again created by LL Cool J, named after his hit single, Rock the Bells. But it says, our mission is rooted in the preservation of hip hop's legacy, the elevation of its artistry, and the innovation that ensures its influence endures and evolves. Through content, products, experiences, and cultural impact, we honor the pioneers who shaped the genre and champion the next generation carrying it forward. We don't just reflect the culture, we protect it, push it forward. We turn bold ideas into new realities. And again, reparations is definitely a bold idea that needs to become a reality. But there is nuances to this, and I appreciate what Marlon Harrison is saying in the chat, asking a very kind of almost central question to this whole conversation in our community. Again, it's one thing to get nations like the United States and I think Venezuela was another one that didn't recognize it, but to recognize slavery as a crime against humanity, but who's impacted by this? Again, question Marlon is saying, is the reparation going to be for all black people or just for descendants of slaves? The reason why I'm asking is because New York has a huge African and Caribbean population. And again, that's why I think we miss a lot when we just talk about the dollar amount, trying to just like get lost and get down the rabbit hole of trying to find a dollar amount and pin a dollar amount to each individual, and that just becomes people get into math formulas start coming out of the woodwork, and we lost more than just financial opportunities.
Right.
We were dehumanized. Again, we kind of talked about quote unquote black people being a stateless people. That's by design. I'm of the mind that we're actually the true Americans. We're home. And the reason why this conversation and the question that Marlon is asking is so important, because who are black? What is black people? Like, we really have to examine that. What is black people? What is white people? Like, we gotta eliminate that. And until we address that issue, the reparations conversation isn't going to count.
Well, it like I said, it's an exercise. I look at it like an exercise. It's not going to bear any answers. Even Africans that are here that weren't descendants of slaves have been living under Jim Crow and all this other mess all this whole time. So don't they deserve something too from being held back? Is it a European way of thinking to think that money? let me just give you some money and that'll fix it all.
All right.
And then when you think if you got to think about it like that, how much? What's the compensation for what's been taken away? It can never be taken away, and there's not going to be eye for an eye. There's no repayment for what's been done. So, I think that we would just be like, how about you just stop enslaving us now? How about we start with, let's stop the abuse right this minute. Let's not go any further with how we've been treated in all these eras and decades. How about that?
I am seeing a growth in the hashtag Leave Black People Alone on social media. I am seeing a lot of that. Like, just leave us alone. Like, just leave us alone.
Shout out to Godfrey on the next episode. Leave Black people alone.
Lincoln's own Godfrey, by the way. Yes, born in Lincoln.
What? I didn't know that.
You didn't know Godfrey was from Lincoln?
Did not know Godfrey was from Lincoln. That's what's up.
Yeah, he talks about it, bro.
He knows what's happening there for real.
Hey, for sure.
That's hilarious. There is that part, man. I think a lot of young people I talk to that are just like, why don't we just make our own town? I actually saw a video recently that was that I'm gonna try to do some research on and break down and bring to y'all, because you ever heard of a town that was illegal for white people to come to? Because that existed as well. We talk about the Tulsas. When we talk about black towns, the first black towns we talk about are the ones that got bombed out of existence. That's by design too. What about the ones that were successful? What about the ones that stayed? Because there are some. and nobody really talks about that. So there are some. So I just learned about another one just recently that I'm going to bring to you guys' attention as soon as I do the fact checking and everything on it, because it was really super interesting about how they used covenants. Shout out to Baby Boy. They used restrictive covenants to keep out the oppressor. In these towns and became self-sufficient, and the idea in this last part of the season of Follow the Money, I'm hearing over and over again, you can't have liberation without having financial back, without having some you got to have cash flow. You have to be able to sustain ecosystems. Some of the things that happened when back in the day when they try to change the laws in order to circumvent these black towns from getting bigger was the sharecropper situation, where they decided that they were going to call in everybody's loan. This is how we'll get them. They got 24 hours to pay off their whole loan, or else they forfeit all their land and all this stuff. Black town, black bank came in, was like, we'll take on that loan, and then we'll redo the loan with these folks and give them a little bit more time to be able to lay it to pay it off. We'll shrink the terms so that they can continue to thrive, and so those white banks couldn't win in that situation. And those are stories you don't hear about. It will never be reported about. These are things that have happened that they don't want you to know happened, and because the master narrative says that what happens when you build your own black town is it gets bombed, or it's underwater, or it gets taken over like Central Park. Or Lake Lanier, like these are all the stories that you hear about what happens when everybody gets together, and it contributes to us feeling like we can't get together.
Man.
So more success stories about times when we can, about how Atlanta is an economic powerhouse for black folks that's still being controlled politically by other folks.
It's still in Georgia. There is Atlanta, but it's in the middle of Georgia. Let's just call it what it is.
So we get down to this. What do? We got to build our own. Building our own is exactly extremely possible.
Speaking of building our own in Georgia, we can't talk about this without giving a shout out to the Gullah Geechee.
Which, by the way, they're trying to mess with their history and take their land away. They're trying to take their island away right now. So again, Gullah Geechee population have been thriving all the way up until now. Now that this administration is really looking at, I'm kind of like that land. Let's go mess with them now. And there was an article that came out a couple weeks back that I was like, I'm about to put this in. We got to gear up. We got to make sure we protect them because here we go again. Eliminate another culture that was built out of survival. And they want to act like they didn't do that. Look how they've been treating the Haitians, which is one of the biggest story about the slave revolts that's happened. I read that there was 231 recorded slave revolts. Did we ever hear about anything besides Rosewood? We don't hear about this stuff. So when you are and roll around Omaha, Nebraska, go down to the Afro-American bookstore, find you a book on some actual history of some successful situations where we survived and figure out and because we built what we had to build. But you got to come together for that. That's why the next season is teamwork makes the dream work. You got to come together for it. A lot of people, I understand the sentiment. I don't know if this they kill our leaders. They shut down our political parties. They put crack in the neighborhood. They do all this. Yeah, they have done all that stuff. But there's been other stuff that we've done in order to build what we needed to build as well. And now we're here, and we're still here. And now we're in a situation where there's global. We can have global ties. What's been going on in the past 10 years, as far as the continent of Africa, and certain countries in Africa, like Ghana, for instance, some of the work that's been done between American black people and Ghanaian black people. There's some things to be said about how we don't just thrive here, but we invest in other countries and team up with other countries and stuff like that too, because they're under some of the same oppressions that we are under from some of the same administrations. Mm-hmm. So, we got to get to that point. We can talk all day long. I appreciate the articles that get put in Friends of First Sky Omaha about how racism is killing us, and how oppression has shortened our lifespans, and every time we try to get together, we get, it's like a Tulsa situation where it gets bombed. Let's look at Tulsa now. Let's look at the Empowerment Network and Willie Barney and them going down to Tulsa right now, and how Tulsa's thriving. How there's people who have businesses in Omaha, Nebraska that are making money from people in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and in other states that they have all this. We got all these stories behind. There's so many other communities out here that has been built, has thrived. And if they're not here anymore, it's because just like a GM or something in Detroit, like economically they fell apart maybe, but not because they were all bombed. They did just like any other small town. There was black run towns, black mayor, black sheriffs, black population, and they lasted until economically they didn't last, just like a Detroit or anywhere else.
Man, but yeah, there's movements happening. There's movement happening, and I appreciate what you're saying with the Empowerment Network, and not just the Empowerment Network, but I'm also thinking of what Brother Kasim is doing with the BAA. I'm also thinking of efforts like New Era Detroit, who's going out in the streets doing some things. If you don't know about them, look them up. New Era Detroit doing some good work. Man, shout out to Brother Golden Child and the peace movement that's going on in Chicago with the Nation of Islam. Got young brothers out there marching in the streets doing good work. There's things going on. So I think, to close this episode with the way we opened it, strategic communication. We have to understand where we are in this point in time and get more intentional and strategic with how we're communicating with each other. And again, we might have to do more of that offline, more of that in person, because again, here we are in this reality once again, with Jim Crow creeping its way into every nook and cranny of this nation. And we have to understand, what this moment requires, because it's happening. It's happening.
It is. And so is 9 o'clock, if you believe in such a thing. It is happening right now that we're at the end of the show. Shout out to everybody who joined us today. RG says, since BZ brought up the term, shout out to Bad News Brown, who used to get on the mic and call wrestling crowds potbelly sharecroppers.
Hulk Hogan, we coming for you.
Also, RG says, y'all act up on the golf course with Mr. Haynes gonna put you in ready rest. I didn't even go here, but I know what ready rest is.
Man,
I'll probably end up in it myself before it's all said and done.
Oh yeah.
Marlon Harrison says the Gene Haynes Open Golf Tournament is Sunday, June 7th. I don't know why it keeps showing the 2023 date. So correction on that. It's not my birthday. It's June 7th. Okay. Prince's birthday is when that goes down. The Gene Haynes Open Golf Tournament. Appreciate you. Also, Ariel's 402 says, hit the like button. Appreciate that. Hit the like button. We got to do it. We got to do it. Change is needed to keep talent here and supported. Yep, Michael Watts, you're right. North Omaha seems to be the testing site to flourish somewhere else. I call it the shed. This is the place where there's not much to do here, but hone your craft, and that's why I feel like I'm around some of the most talented people I've ever been around. Because everybody's super, super good at what it is they do. And yeah, they got to go somewhere else to be supported a lot of times. And it could be because there's not an industry here or a way of thinking here or enough of us here to really kind of push those things. We'll see. I feel there might be a sea change on some of that stuff. So we will definitely see on that for sure. Strategic communication. It's one of the lanes of change,
man.
And, we are going through all of these lanes of change. As you can see, we've been kind of leaning on this, and you've been hearing us talk about these lanes. But this is what it's all about, man. Strategic communication is our lane for sure. And as you can see, we need much more storytelling about our stories and about our wins, and not relying on books. In the course of the 5 years we've been doing this, you've seen them take history out of books,
man,
in school. Martin Luther King Jr. has been taken out of books and stuff like that in school.
We didn't really talk about it, but the University of Nebraska Kearney just banned a book because of some letter that a Penland staffer wrote. So it's still ongoing today. We now more than ever. It's I mean, even the kids, bro. Even the kids are like, I'll take a Saturday to learn some Black history because they're not teaching nothing. Even the kids are like thirsty for it.
getting the information, the real information quenched. They see people coming here trying to change the narrative. Changing the narrative works for the sheep masses only. It doesn't work for the thinkers. It doesn't work for the people. It doesn't work for certain cultures. They'll pass down the information, story to story to each other. Oral histories passed down from the ancestors, even if they have no means to write it down, no means to take a picture, no means to make a video, no means to make a post. They'll sit there with the grandbabies and tell the story, and it'll come down to where it has to come down. So we gonna find a way until they sew everybody's lips shut. Let me give them no ideas around here.
Right.
Yeah. We're going to get out here. Heart Ministry has their Vision Community Meeting coming up June 17th. Please mark this on the calendar. It's going to be a very important thing. They're hosting a community vision meeting to further share the mission behind the North Omaha grocery store being built in North Omaha and hear directly from the community about what they would like to see from it. I'm going to keep pushing this because it's going to be very important for the people in that neighborhood, around surrounding neighborhoods. They're putting it right in the middle of a place that they're calling a food desert. And so this will be a walkable place for some people around the area. And yes, you have an opportunity to say, you know what, I want in there. I want some chocolate cover, whatever. I don't know I mean, not just what you want to see food wise, but what you want to see community wise, who you want working in there, what you want that thing to do and how you want it to serve. I highly suggest you put this on your calendar and go to it, get busy. So appreciate that. As we said, we have Calvin Keys coming. I'm sorry, not Calvin Keys. Man, my goodness.
Man,
Calvin Williams, yeah, bro, that was a heavy one. Calvin Williams is going to join us a little later on this week, but before that, we got a couple other special guests coming in. Brother Dale Gines is going to come through next Wednesday, so shout out to him. I can't wait to speak to him. And then also we just got Johnny No Good on deck for next Friday for a Love Supreme Friday. And then next week we'll be talking to Calvin Williams and a couple of others. So yeah, lots of good guests to come right before we are coming up to our last couple weeks of the season here. So I highly suggest you stay tuned, get ready for that, and get your questions ready for these special guests that are coming out. I might put something in Friends of First Sky Omaha to tell you about the guests coming since they're all booked up. Yeah.
Got about 5 episodes left.
About 5, bro. About ready to get out of here. So yeah, man. I'm looking forward to the break. I will be honest.
Need a vacation.
I need to get right near the beach for a minute. Buddy, you got some words for the people?
Man, big shout out to Senator McKinney for joining us for the last Cypher. I hope everything was all right with Senator Spivey. Check in with her, see what's going on. But yeah. Again, thank you to him for speaking to us, dropping some gems, like really getting into the conversation. I really appreciate that. And of course, thank you all of you joining the chat, letting your mind be free. More importantly, letting your voice be heard. And hopefully we did more good than caused more clarity than confusion. There we go. Because it's a community conversation, and that's the whole point, man. Trying to get down to some understanding, some clarity, so we can move with that clarity and get some things done, man. So appreciate you. Again, we're ending this season, but we'll be back in a couple of weeks. Also, throughout the break, we do continue our weekly wrap, so make sure you're signing up for that. There will be some changes coming to that here pretty soon. So as always, feel free to let us know. Let us know how you feel about it, what you like about it, what you don't like about it. We're always, again, in conversation with you all. So we appreciate you. We love you. We thank you. Catch the same time, same place. In the meantime, between time, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right here on First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B.
In the morning.
Hey, with that, go ahead and take it away, bro.
Right on, man. Appreciate everybody who's joined us today. Pop says, thank you for another great start for the week. Hey. He says, see you all on Wednesday. Appreciate that. Again, Dale Gines is going to join us on Wednesday. Can't wait to have a conversation with him as we wrap up this Follow the Money season. Buddy talked about the weekly wrap. We would love for you to sign up to that if you have not. Thanks for the new people who've signed up. You can go ahead and hit that link and join us with the weekly wrap newspaper. That's something that we will continue, newsletter. That's something that we will continue to put out even throughout the break, like Buddy was explaining. So yeah, please keep up with us there. You can always hit us up at firstskyOmaha@gmail.com with any ideas, stories, things that you want us to feature, talk about. And also, if you want to advertise with us, as you can see, we've been running some ads and stuff like that. Shout out to Calvin, who's working with us for the Freedom Festival concert that's coming up. You got events, and of course, we only pick the things that we are down for ourselves. That's how we choose who we advertise with. If we ain't what you're selling, then you ain't gonna see it on here. So again, we'll push it, and we want to really kind of talk to our listeners, our followers, our chat chimers, our ghost listeners, to really kind of enhance what's going on here. If we can get some people here, then that means that that they'll come to us for advertising, and then we can support what we're doing here and having these conversations and bringing you some information and conversation as we go. So if you have any questions on that, definitely hit us up, firstsky.omaha@gmail.com. Also, shout out to all of the members of the channel, the $10 people, the $25 people, the $50 people. Thank you. If you're so inclined and you have not become a member yet, please consider doing so if you can. We all know how it is, bro. You ain't gonna hurt our feelings if you can't do it. We understand what's going on. So shout out to everybody who does, and shout out to everybody who can't but still tune in and chat chime and participate. We really appreciate that. Go to firstskyOmaha.com, hit the join button, and become a member if you can. So I appreciate that very much. Appreciate all of you. We'll see you Wednesday when we get to speak to Dale Guines. You guys take care of yourselves. It's supposed to be a beautiful day outside. Try to get outside. Try to touch some earth. Try to spend some time and live alive with one another and be good to each other. And we'll see you Wednesday. Peace. Oh, ho.
By the way.
I'm tripping. Shout out to the Omaha Tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Shout out to our elders for allowing us to speak before you. And shout out to you, the chat chimers, allowing us to speak with you. Thanks for respect for the guests, all the good questions, all the good comments. And please spread the word. Tell a friend that we're doing this, and replay the show on YouTube. Like and subscribe if you missed any parts of that interview or any parts of the show and you want to go back and check it out. Please do so. With that, we're going to get out of here. Thank you for bearing with us. Take care of yourselves. Peace.
By the way, Vanguard. This is protected by the red